Was that last one recording?
Sure was.
Okay, good.
2, 3, 4.
Which one do you prefer? Oasis or Dawn?
No. What? Oasis, I mean Oasis.
To find 50 better tunes than this, I think you can do it.
Well, that's no, I wrote it.
What do you want to hear?
Oasis.
The next song is Married with Children, which is another one of these nice album tracks on Definitely Maybe that was that really widened the appeal of the band, because it was a very, well, number one, it's a song about being married with children, which quite a sizable proportion of the populace can claim. But the subject matter was very domestic, Coronation Street sort of domesticity that the band really, the early years of the band, they really sort of tapped into. What other band can you think of that would have made a tune as light-hearted in melody and delivery, and even the drama ensconced within the lyrical content was very light-hearted. It's literally just a tune about just two people just fed up with each other's company, which I'm sure a lot of people are sort of right at this moment in the world history. People are probably getting very it probably feels very relatable to. But even if there were bands dealing with domestic issues, it was if you don't love me by now, there's all that sort of melodramatic shite, and sometimes you're just sick of hearing somebody playing their fucking tunes all day. And for young Noel growing up in the bunk above Liam, I'm sure that I'm sure he really got under his skin on numerous occasions. The musicality, it's again, it's a very straightforward tune in regards to the musicality of it. It's just not a standard chord sequence, but a very straightforward chord sequence, and it's played on, I think, a nylon string guitar, which was quite an interesting choice because it really softens the blow of it. If it was a full-on steel string, even though it was acoustic, it would still sound harsher. That sort of strummy does at the start of Talk Tonight. It takes that away because it's a softer sound that he's hitting when he's hitting the nylon strings, and obviously there is the steel strings, etc., as well inside it in the song itself. But the nylon strings really dull the impact that the steel strings might have had, and obviously if it was a distorted electric, it would have been a completely different song and would have been a completely different tone, and a really very odd tone to close the album to. There's no need for you to say you're sorry. Goodbye, I'm going home. So as you can see, their ranks are pretty middling, well, upper middling, all going to the sort of 30s, late 20s in their rankings, which I feel is about right. It's a top 50 Oasis song, but it's not a world beater, but it is, again, it shows a breadth of creativity that contemporaries were not showing. Maybe through no fault of their own. Maybe Noel just had the opportunity to be more expressive on his first album. But it took a lot of confidence, a lot of chutzpah, if you want, or brass balls, to go to so many different directions on his first album, from something as raw and as powerful as Bring It On Down to something as quaint as this. and then something as epic as Live Forever and as sweeping as Slide Away. Just as forthright as Rock and Roll Star and as esoteric as Columbia. I mean, what a coverage that is. Like, if you were to play songs on a spectrum, that is a very wide spectrum for one album to cover, while also being the fastest selling debut album of all time. Shows that what was there was definitely something special. Definitely maybe one of the greatest albums of all time. What's your favourite song of Definitely Maybe? Did I miss it out? Is a big question. Is there any tunes off Definitely Maybe that should be in the duds pile? No. Apart from, obviously, Shaker Maker, which isn't even really a dud. It was just not as good as the rest of the songs, and it just happened to be a single that I didn't particularly like. I mean, not every song and Definitely Maybe made it to the list, as you now know. Do you feel that was unfair? Do you feel there's too many from Definitely Maybe? Is it far too weighted to their early career? Well, only time will tell. You'll have to stick around and wait for the full 50 to be revealed. No spoilers. I dug these out. This is Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, the full guitar tab. This week was the 20th anniversary of the release of Who Feels Love, which I said in an earlier video I didn't actually like. Well, I said I'd never really liked, which is sort of true, but I do love the fact that Noel went to such an out there sort of place with that tune. And the reason I don't like it is because the tempo is just too low. That's the full sheet music in full copyright infringing glory. But this is where I discovered that they're actually playing football at the top of that cityscape, which you can't really appreciate on the CD single, obviously. And also, I'll have to have a deep dive into that, because I haven't looked at this in about 9 or 10 years. This would have been around the Be Here Now time. Again, ahead of the curve with shaving their heads. Really ahead of the COVID crisis. Yeah, I might do a deep dive on that. I might do a video on it, depending on how things turn out. George Martin. I consider Noel Gallagher to be the finest songwriter of his generation. I'll have to look into the annals. There is no annals. We'll have to go to the future to find some maximum capacity footage, if there is any, or just enjoy the song itself. But that's this signing off at the end of the Definitely Maybe era. It'll be the B-sides next, which is why I'm starting off with Listen Up. So stick around, like and subscribe with the bell.